Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Maine Pageant Place. Today we have the honor of speaking to Katie Winchenbach. Katie, welcome.
Hi, Christina. It's so nice to be here.
How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful.
I know we're really excited to kind of share and dive into more of who you are and kind of what you do, not only in the pageant community here in Maine, but as a whole. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your early life?
Yeah, so I grew up in Maine, small town of Milford, right outside of Orono. And I think I knew pretty early on that I wanted to get out of Maine, as silly as that might sound. I visited New York when I was in eighth grade. That was my big goal, and my parents were nice enough to take me down. And I was like, I'm going to live here. And so I did actually move down to New York. I went to undergrad at Hofstra, which is on Long Island. And kind of out of the blue, decided I didn't like my major and I didn't want to be a journalist, which is what I grew up thinking that I would be. And I'll be honest, I floundered a little bit. It's kind of scary to get to that point, your last year of college, doing internships and realizing you don't want to do what you thought you'd always wanted to do. So I ended up going to law school, which is kind of a big departure from fashion journalism to law school. But I love it. I moved to Connecticut, went to law school at Quinnipiac, and then met my husband, or reconnected with my husband, I should say, because we grew up together, and moved back to Maine, which I never thought I'd do, but I couldn't be happier.
Amazing. Well, the Maine community is really lucky to have you here. And I see you have that beautiful crown and sash. So, tell us a little bit about your title that you currently hold.
So I am currently National United States Maine Misses for 2025, and I'm getting ready to go to nationals at the end of July.
Yeehaw! What does that kind of preparation for a kind of a seasoned queen like yourself look like?
One of the reasons I love National United States and I chose this system is because they're so focused on community service. So, really, for my preparation, I just get to be out in my community doing really cool things and focusing on my platform, which is called Lead Fearlessly.
Let's talk more about that Lead Fearlessly platform that you have. Kind of help educate us on that background.
Yeah, so I've been doing nonprofit work for about 15 years now, and I've always been focused on helping rising women leaders. When I started, it was really in that legal space, but I realized that there's just a need for women's leadership development and training across the world. So I started Lead Fearlessly, which is a podcast that interviews women leaders from various industries, various locations, kind of at different points in their career. And we have these really incredible, candid conversations about what it means to be a leader and what that path actually looks like. Because the path to becoming any sort of leader is so winding, and it's just so important, I think, for women to hear all of these different stories, that there are multiple ways to get where you want to go. You're not out there doing it by yourself. And when you feel like you have no clue what you're doing, you're not alone. We've all felt that way. And it's about really building your confidence in yourself to step into those leadership positions.
I think that's what makes you such a wonderful queen is that you are so true and authentic and you don't hide from what other, people perceive as floundering. You're just like, this is a moment and this is real for us. And that's what makes you so approachable and also what makes you such a pillar in this pageant community of strength. And just even naming your podcast Lead Fearlessly, it just speaks to who I feel I've seen who you are, which I really admire about you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been a total whirlwind of a journey with Lead Fearlessly. I didn't know what would happen when I decided to start a podcast. I had absolutely no experience podcasting. I was lucky to have a wonderful community of people that were there to guide me. And now the podcast is actually internationally streamed. We're on about 8 different streaming platforms, and it's given me these amazing opportunities to keynote different conferences in Maine and New England. I'm actually going to be giving my first TED Talk, talking about building confidence and leadership this December. So it's opened so many incredible doors.
That sounds beyond wonderful, and we will definitely keep our Maine Pageant Place community abreast to when that is launched for you in December and how to access that, and they're gonna wanna follow you through with that. It's an amazing accomplishment to be nominated for a TED Talk.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a bucket list item for me. And I really feel like I couldn't have gotten here without the pageant community. This is really where it all started for me, was doing my first pageant and really realizing that I could be a corporate attorney, but I could also be glamorous and be active in my community and not have to keep those two parts separate. I think pageantry for me has been a huge confidence booster.
I think quickly one of our favorite sayings here at the Maine Pageant Place is that a crown is not just a crown, it's a call for action.
Mhm.
And that's really, I feel like you embody that to the spirit, which is amazing to see.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about doing pageants and what drew me in at first. I'll be honest, I almost said no when I was first invited to compete in a pageant because I didn't really know what it entailed. I didn't really think it was for me. But once I realized, like you said, the crown is a call to action. It's really about being out in your community, serving these groups. And for me, being part of pageants and representing nationally United States has just given me an extra platform to be able to advocate for rising women leaders.
Absolutely. So, another question I love to ask our queenies here in the chair is how do you lead authentically in a world that really prioritizes on conformity? How do you kind of break out of that mold?
That's like the $1 million question, to be honest. And if I had the answer, I think I would be a millionaire, which would be super cool. But I think like it all comes down to, as hard as this is, like just being confident in yourself. Like everybody is unique. You are the way you are for a reason, and you do bring something to the table. And when you remember that and you focus on your values and what really makes you happy, what lights you up, and you just start to follow that, it's like a confidence snowball. You just feel so good about the things that you're doing, and it's so much easier to kind of put those haters aside and put those messages of conformity aside. Not to say I don't ever have that imposter syndrome or that self-doubt, because I think it kind of trails along with you everywhere you go. But the more you just kind of see that fear and you're like, I'm going to do this anyways. Like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put myself out there. You see what really happens when you lean into that authentic part of yourself. And I think I'm a great example of that. If you would have asked me, I mean, 10 years ago, if you would have said, you're going to be a corporate attorney, I would have been like, that's really funny. Absolutely not. Then you fast forward, and if even 2 years ago, you would have said to me, you're going to be doing pageants, you're going to be modeling, you're going to be about to launch a clothing line, I would have been like, that's hilarious. No, I'm not. I don't know anything about that. I'm going to have a podcast. Like, that's crazy. But I just felt so strongly that advocating for women leaders is what I've been put on this earth to do, and helping to give women the tools that they need to really feel that confidence was so important to me that I just kept saying yes to all of these things that I didn't know how to do, and figuring it out as I went.
Absolutely. I think I saw something that are you headed off to New York Fashion Week soon? Is that the word on the street?
It is actually, before that, I am headed off to Miami Swim Week next
Oh,
week.
wow, I had no idea, Katie. That's
It's
amazing.
yeah, you know what? When you say yes to things,
Yes, the
it
yes
all
queen.
yeah, it just spirals. And so I'm headed down to Miami Swim Week, and while I'm down there, I'm going to be launching my very first clothing collection. It's called Fearless by Katie Winchenbach, and pretty soon it will be available on Amazon.
Amazing. That is spectacular. So, tell me a little bit about the swim week. What does that kind of entail for you? What are you really looking forward to the most about that experience?
So I've done New York Fashion Week before and I love it. New York obviously holds a very dear place in my heart, but I'm really excited about Miami because my husband's able to come with me. So we're gonna have actually take a whole week of vacation beforehand and get to spend some time together, do some things that he's super interested in, some hiking, some exploring, and then we're just gonna hit the ground running at Swim Week. I'm gonna be doing some promotional photo shoots for the fashion line. I get to see it after production for the first time, just super exciting. And then spending most of the day Saturday getting to meet with my models, getting them all styled and ready. And I'm just excited to be able to see this collection come to life because I really feel like clothes are an important way for anyone to express themselves. And when you feel like you look good, then it really helps with that confidence that's so important, especially for women to kind of boost their leadership.
Absolutely. Well, I cannot wait to see your new collection. I am so excited. You have so many great irons in the fire right now.
Yes, it's a busy time, but I really, really love that. And I actually just yesterday hosted an event for 120 women in Maine, which was
Wow.
amazing. I'm honored to be the president of Women Standing Together, which is a nonprofit in Maine that focuses on women entrepreneurs and women in Maine's business community. And we hosted a leadership intensive yesterday. We sold out our second year. It
Incredible.
was really exciting and brought together 120 women from across the state for a day of leadership development, networking, connection. The energy was incredible and just really highlighted that when women come together, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's in pageantry, whether it's just having good friends that you get to spend time with, it's so powerful.
I really admire all the different facets in which you can help support and highlight fellow females in your community. I really just admire that. And again, we're just so incredibly lucky to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's been so nice to be here and be able to share all of this exciting stuff that's going on.
So I saw on your resume that it looks like you've had quite a bit of honorable mentions and awards lately. Is there any award or accolade that's stuck out more than not to you?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's really amazing anytime that you get to receive an award. For me, one that really stood out was the President's Volunteer Service Award. Giving back to my community is so important to me, and part of the reason why I love being involved in pageants. And to be able to get recognized for the work that goes into that really means a lot.
So, Katie, I know that you're going to be a beacon for a lot more females in the Maine community now. So, how can they reach out to you? How can they follow you in your journey?
Yeah, so I'm super active on social media. My Instagram is Hey It's KDW. And then I also have a website, kdwinchenbach.com, that has all of the links to the podcast, any upcoming events or speaking engagements that I'm doing, and a little contact me form if you just want to chat.
Awesome. Make sure to follow Katie so you don't miss out on any community engagement. Katie, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much, Christina. This was a blast.